Okay folks, so we have an image here and we're going to colour pop it. And what we mean by colour pop is we're going to use Photoshop to make the image black and white but leave the yellow off the bin. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do here is to take a new layer. There's several ways that you can do this. To do this, you're going to go up to your layer menu at the top of the screen. You're going to go down to new and you're going to ask for a layer. You will get a dialog box and an opportunity to actually name the layer, and I'm just going to call this black and white and click OK. And you'll see then that a layer is generated. Now currently there are check marks. It looks like a little checkerboard within this thumbnail that I'm hovering around at the moment. That denotes transparency. It's like putting a sheet of acetate or cling film or even a piece of glass on top of your photograph. Okay, it doesn't actually harm your photograph. So the work that we're going to do is going to be on this top layer. So what we're going to do is to apply black paint onto this black and white layer. And in order to do that, you need to have black as your foreground color. If you have purple on top, just hit the little toggle here. And you'll see then that your colors swap, your background comes to your foreground. The next thing that we're going to do is go to your paint bucket tool, and that will apply whatever color is in the foreground of your toolbar to the layer that you currently have selected or highlighted. Now initially it will just look like a black painting. We are expecting that, and that black and white layer can be switched off and on at any point in time. And you'll see there that your image is still underneath and untouched. So whenever I switch it on there, in order to be able to see through the black in the layer, I'm going to change it from the mode of normal, which is up here at the top, and I'm going to go down to color, which is the second last option. And whenever I click on that, it looks as though the image is desaturated. Now in order to get the yellow to come through the black and white layer, the next thing that we have to do is go to the eraser, and as I start to erase in the black and white layer, and effectively what I'm doing is I'm erasing a hole in the layer so that you can see the item underneath. And all I want to do is bring back that yellow bin. Now if I take away too much and you see other colours coming in there, it's no big deal. Okay, to correct that, you go back to your paintbrush. You currently have black in the foreground, and you make your brush a manageable size. And that allows you to reapply black paint to the areas that you don't want to be coloured, that you've accidentally coloured in. If I just switch off the background layer there and increase the size of my brush a tad. So it's a matter of applying black paint and using an eraser to cut through the paint. So you are using your paintbrush to apply paint and the eraser to erase paint. You will have to go up and down your brush sizes, and find your brush sizes up here in the options bar. Always make sure that they're manageable. What I'm going to do here is zoom in by pressing Ctrl+ once or twice, and I'm just going to fit the bin in the middle of the screen just so that I have a good view of it. Now initially I've clicked my mouse once in order for me to get a straight line between mouse clicks. If I hold down my shift key before I click my mouse again, whenever I click the mouse you will get a straight line between mouse clicks. This is very good for outlining purposes. And it's nice as well from the point of view that once you've got your outlining done, you can afford then to upgrade to a larger brush and fill in the rest of the detail without worrying too much about going over the edges and making mistakes. And you will make mistakes. We do expect you to make mistakes, but we also show you how to correct the mistakes. Now once I have this filled in, if I was to close off or hide the background layer, you would see a hole in the black and white layer in the shape of the bin. Now all we're going to do here is on the bottom layer, Control 0, and on this bottom layer I'm going to go into Image, Adjustments and Levels and see if I can just make this a little bit darker and a bit more punchy or contrasted for the black and white. Now you can overdo this, and albeit that it is subjective, do consider that whenever you are looking at an image on your computer that you have light coming through your image because of the screen, and whenever you actually go to print it, that light does not come through your photograph. Okay, so although you may think that it is quite bright on screen, it will print up darker. So I'm just going to OK that. Now, because I have a background and another layer, whenever I go to save this, so whenever I do File and Save, it automatically defaults to a PSD, which is a Photoshop document, and that's because of the two layers. I'm just going to save that as it is and keep the PSD, keep the layers intact. But I'm also going to do File and Save As, and then save that out as a JPEG, but I'm going to change the title so that I don't overwrite the original image. Okay, so to save a JPEG, you go to File and Save As, and this time you're going to change the Photoshop format to a JPEG format, and I am going to give that today's date. And click Save. So whenever I click on Save, you will get a JPEG quality options box. Do remember that if you're doing this for photographic sizes, that it has to be a quality of 12 so that you have the maximum quality and the minimum compression. Thanks for listening, guys.